Okay, YouTube family, I just did a video about your great leader, Shedeur Sanders, and Andre Schmitz. When he missed the field goal, Shedeur hugged him. But this is the second part of the video where I want to just go off with nothing scripted, more of a freestyle. I mean, all my videos are freestyle, but none where I'm trying to be professional. I'm trying to be...
The Cleveland Browns had just suffered an embarrassing defeat. Missed kicks, dropped passes, and a fan base searching for answers. But instead of focusing on the on-field collapse, Cleveland media found a new scapegoat, Shedeur Sanders.
The backwards hat and the sunglasses and the look of it, I would just remind Shedeur, lock in on the game. Watching
you know what?
him,
Let him go somewhere else.
What if we started talking about Shedeur's backwards hat?
Man, you know, when Shedeur Sanders was drafted and slid to the 5th round, something was said about him. The thing that was said about him is head.
Backwards hat and sunglasses. That's right. Before he even took a meaningful snap, Shedeur's sideline look became the headline. Locking on the game, one media voice scolded, suggesting that Shedeur wasn't committed simply because
the Browns got what they wanted out of it.
Absolutely. I think it punctuated a pretty positive training camp and preseason. 3-0 wasn't important in itself, but I think it reflected the kind of preseason and training camp the Browns had. Everything was positive with the exception of the Martin Emerson Achilles tendon injury right at the beginning of camp. Now in the game itself, the Rams brought nobody except the specialists who are probably going to make their team. So you got to take it, you got to understand that. But I think Flacco in the #1 offense, it was just pitch and catch out there for the one drive.
Listen up. He chose to wear his hat a certain way. Others piled on, accusing him of being more interested in cameras than football. It was a surreal moment. A rookie quarterback, drafted in the 5th round, suddenly painted as a distraction rather than a potential future star. But here's the twist. While the Browns were imploding on the field, Shedeur was seen consoling his kicker after a brutal miss. A genuine show of leadership. Half the fan base applauded him for it, saying it proved he had the poise to one day lead this franchise. The other half, they accused him of staging the moment to grab the spotlight. The debate exploded overnight. Was Shedeur being unfairly targeted by a desperate Cleveland media searching for headlines? Or was there truth to the whispers that he wasn't putting in enough work off the field? And most importantly, could this media firestorm actually push the Browns to consider moving on from him before he even gets his chance? This isn't just about a hat. This is about a young quarterback fighting for respect, a fan base divided, and trade rumors already swirling after Week 1. Buckle up, because the Shedeur Sanders saga in Cleveland is just getting started.
Misses 2 field goals. You miss a PAT, you miss a 36-yard field goal. You have 2 insane, miraculous interceptions where your receivers don't want to catch the ball and just threw them to defensive backs. What does Cleveland media have to talk about? Shedeur Sanders in his awful backwards hat. Let's hear it.
The Browns, they didn't let him go against the ones the whole time in training camp.
The Browns went into Week 1 looking to set the tone for their season. Instead, they walked away with chaos, frustration, and one of the ugliest performances in recent memory. Their brand new rookie kicker, signed just days before kickoff, missed 2 field goals and a critical PAT. One of those misses was from just 36 yards, a kick that every NFL kicker is expected to drill in their sleep. Add to that 2 miraculous interceptions, the kind that should have been easy completions but instead bounced into the hands of defenders because Cleveland receivers refused to finish plays. That it wasn't just a loss, it was an implosion, a collapse. So embarrassing that Cleveland fans were left stunned, searching for answers. And as always in Cleveland, when the team collapses, the blame game starts. But this time, the finger-pointing took a bizarre turn. Instead of focusing on the offense sputtering, or the coaching decisions, or the special teams disaster, the Cleveland media zeroed in on a rookie quarterback who hadn't even touched the field, Shedeur Sanders. Yes, while Joe Flacco was out. They're battling, while the defense fought tooth and nail to keep the game close. The post-game chatter wasn't about X's and O's. It was about Shedeur's backwards hat and sunglasses. One Cleveland radio host hammered him. Lock in on the game. Watch the game. Don't worry about your look. Another took it further, claiming Shedeur might not be putting in the work off the field, that perhaps his sideline demeanor was a window into a larger problem. It was an absurd narrative, but one that spread like wildfire. Because in a city that's used to heartbreak, fans are always looking for a scapegoat. And Shedeur, as a flashy rookie with a famous last name, became the easy target. But what really happened on that sideline told a different story. Cameras caught Shedeur consoling rookie kicker Andre Smythe after his disastrous miss, a hand on the shoulder, words of encouragement. Half the fan base saw it as leadership. The other half called it staged, claiming he was angling for camera time. The truth? Shedeur did what any good teammate should do, but in Cleveland, perception matters more than reality. And overnight, his backwards hat turned into a lightning rod for controversy. The obsession with Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland isn't new. From the moment he slipped to the 5th round of the draft, questions swirled about whether he was being undervalued, overhyped, or simply miscast. Analysts warned that wherever Shedeur went, the media firestorm would follow. And Week 1 proved them right. Instead of talking about missed blocks, dropped passes, or blown assignments, local shows lit up with debates about Shedeur's sideline demeanor. Some fans argued he was already more composed than veterans, pointing to the way he lifted up a teammate in crisis. Others accused him of being more interested in his personal brand than football. One voice on ESPN Cleveland even floated the idea that Shedeur wasn't getting first-team reps because he wasn't working hard enough behind the scenes. That speculation, baseless as it was, only added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, fans on social media turned the debate into a battlefield. On Twitter/X, clips of Shedeur in his backwards hat trended with captions like QB1 vibes and send him packing. Memes popped up overnight, comparing him to Hollywood stars rather than NFL quarterbacks. But here's the irony. Shedeur Sanders is the emergency quarterback. By rule, he can't even play unless multiple injuries occur. Yet somehow, the media spun his non-role into the biggest story of the game. And that's when things escalated. Trade chatter, fan debates over whether Cleveland was wasting his potential, speculation about whether the Browns even wanted him in the first place. All of it, from hats to sunglasses to sideline body language, fed into a bigger storm. Was Shedeur's time in Cleveland already doomed before it even began? Asterisk, when a franchise is spiraling, rumors fill the void. And in Cleveland, the whispers quickly grew louder. What if the Browns traded Shedeur Sanders? It started with fan chatter online. Posts saying Miami should scoop him up, that Carolina might be a fit, that the Vikings could use him. Some argued that Shedeur's timing and accuracy, his biggest strengths, were tailor-made for Mike McDaniel's system in Miami. Others pointed to Carolina's struggles with Bryce Young and wondered if Sanders could be the answer. Even respected voices in Cleveland media began entertaining the possibility. If you're not going to give him a chance, let him go, one commentator said bluntly. And here's where the conversation gets real. Shedeur Sanders, for all the criticism, still carries the shine of a former first-round talent. Analysts agree he's one of the most accurate young passers in football. He's healthy, he's marketable, and his jersey already ranks among the NFL's top sellers. For a team desperate for energy, like the Dolphins, who've watched Tua battle injuries, or the Panthers, who are already doubting their pick in Bryce Young, Shedeur could be both a spark and a long-term solution. Imagine him in Miami, surrounded by Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, in an offense designed for timing and accuracy. Imagine him in Carolina, given the chance to grow with a rebuilding roster. Imagine him in Minnesota, throwing to Justin Jefferson. The possibilities are endless, and that's why the rumors won't stop. But for now, Shedeur Sanders remains a Cleveland Brown, a rookie wearing a backwards hat who somehow became the center of the storm. And whether the Browns embrace him or ship him out, one thing is clear: the saga of Shedeur Sanders is just beginning.